Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about a workout that we are doing called push-pull core. And what I'm going to talk about here is just an understanding of why we are doing the things that we are in that workout. While you're watching this video, I would highly suggest that you go into Showbie and that you open up the document that has a bunch of questions from Mrs. Patterson and I about our different workouts. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, open that document and fill it out while you watch this. You're welcome. All right. First, so push-pull core. What is this referring to? In this workout video, it is an upper body focused workout for the most part. And there are a bunch of muscles that we have in our upper body, right? We have muscles in the front of our body, and we also have muscles in the back of our body. When we are using them, certain muscles are for pushing, and certain muscles are for pulling. It's important that we work both of these muscles, but first let's make sure that we understand what each of them are. All right. Our push muscles. Oh, weird. That might be on your sheet of paper. Our push muscles, as I mentioned, are used for pushing things away from us. We can think about, let's just say that could be, any type of exercise, but let's just think like in real life, moving something away from you. Maybe it's pushing the couch over. Anytime you're doing something where you're pushing something up above your head or moving something away from you, that would be considered a push movement. Muscles in our body that are used in the push. All right, if we think about this, if I am going to push something away from me, I'm going to be using the front of my chest, which is referred to our chest muscle, so our pectoralis. We are going to be using, whenever we press something up above, we are going to be using our shoulders. And then the third pressing muscle is on the back of our arms, and it is our triceps. All right, so our three primary pushing muscles are our chest, shoulders, and triceps. All three of these muscles are working together. Yes, when you do things, other muscles are being used too, but those are the three primary muscles used in pushing movements. When we think about exercises that do this, we have a dumbbell bench press is an example of a push movement that works on our chest. We have push-ups, right? We're pushing our body away from the ground. That is a big chest and tricep exercise. Anytime I'm pressing weights above my head, that would be a push movement. Anytime when we think about when we're using the tricep rope and we go straight down, that would be a push. I am pushing the tricep rope away from me, and that would use my triceps as well there. All right, so a lot of different exercises are considered push exercises, and those are some examples for you. On the back half of our body, though, if we think about anytime you are pulling something toward you, all right, whether I'm picking up something off the ground, whether I'm pulling in a exercise, we are using our pull muscles. All right, our pull muscles are referring to all of the muscles in our back. So we have our rhomboids. You don't have to know the specifics on that, but just know that your pulling muscles are going to be your back and your biceps. All right, our back is obviously very big. It goes all the way up to the top and all the way down to our butt. We don't have to go into specifics right now on what the different muscles are, but we do have things that are called rhomboids. That's in your upper back. We have our latissimus dorsi, and those are on the side of your back. But all these muscles are going to be used to help us pull things toward us. Some exercise examples that we can think of for this. Bicep curls are going to work our biceps. If we think about any time that I am holding weights out in front of me and pulling them towards me, that is going to work my back. If we think about in the workout videos that we have done where we do one-arm dumbbell rows, that's working our back. If I do a chin-up and I'm pulling my body up to the bar, that is also going to be a pulling exercise. All right, so we've just gone over what our push exercises, what our pull exercises. Remember, push muscles, chest, shoulder, triceps. Pulling muscles, our back and our biceps. Workouts, these need both pushing and pulling movements in them. All right, think about it for a second. Why might we need to have both pushing and pulling? What I want you to imagine is, what if you only did pushing exercises? What if you only did bench press every single day and you never exercised your back? What do you think your body would look like? Right? I'm sure we can imagine we'll have a big chest, nothing in our back. But really what's going to happen is, if we only work the front of our body, our body's going to start to round forward. So a lot of people, when they only do pushing exercises, get really, really tight. If you think about it also, we sit a lot. And if we sit a lot and we're in this forward motion, everything's getting tight here. So now I'm only doing push exercises and I sit with a rounded back, so everything's really tight. Let me stand up so it's easier to see. A lot of us look like this. We're supposed to stand tall, but we're all like this because our body is so tight in the front. By making sure that we don't just do push-ups, but we also do some type of pulling motion, that's going to pull my shoulders back and help make sure that my body is staying balanced. Same thing, if I only work the back of my body and I never work the front of my body, I'm going to have some imbalances in my body there and some weaknesses, which make me more likely to get injured. So we need both pushing and pulling exercises in our workouts, so that way we are balanced. So anytime I do a push motion in a workout, I better follow it with a pulling one to make sure that I'm keeping my body symmetrical. And if I don't keep my body symmetrical, that's when I'm at a greater likelihood of being injured and creating imbalances in my body. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your workouts. If there's a day where you're doing a bunch of push-ups, make sure you find a way to do a pulling motion in there. And we've gone over a lot of those in some of our workouts. All right, so now I've covered the push and the pull, which covers our upper body. Let's also talk about the core. All right, what is the job of the core? A lot of people think that the job of the core is to be, those beach muscles that everybody gets to see where we all have six-pack abs and look really good. But the job of the core is not just to look good, and it's also not just the front of our body. So I'm going to stand for most of this part. So our core is the front of our stomach, the sides, and also the back. All right, the core encompasses everything going all the way around. A lot of people, when they think of the core, we think it's just the front, but that's not the case. That's only 1/4 of the entire core that we have. All right, the job of the core is to resist any type of motion. Our core is protecting our spine. All right, we have our spine that's going straight up and down. Our core is wrapped around our spine to try to keep our spine safe. Our core does not want our body to be able to move forward. It doesn't want our body to move backwards or side to side. So, job of the core, know this, is to resist motion. There are 4 types of motion that our core tries to resist. The first one is anti-flexion. So if we think anytime that I bend forward, let's say that I have a backpack on my back. If it was really heavy and I lean forward, if my core isn't strong enough, I'm just going to fall forward. But if my core is strong, it's going to resist that motion and it's going to help me stay tall even though I have something pulling me down. So there's the anti-flexion. If we have something that, let's say someone pushes me and I start going backwards, if my core isn't strong enough, I'm going to extend really far back and that's going to hurt me. So my core resists this with a thing called anti-extension. And so if someone comes at me, I brace my core tight and now I don't move. And that's going to help keep my spine safe too. All right, so we have anti-flexion, we have anti-extension, and we actually have anti-rotation. If someone were to hit us, and we didn't have any core strength, we would just go flying. But when we can resist rotation, that keeps us safe in the spot that we are. If you imagine that you're holding a backpack off to the side, and my body, if I'm holding this, right, if I'm not strong in the core, I'm just going to lean to the side. But if my core is strong, I'm going to be able to stand tall because my body is able to resist that flexion off to the side. So the reason I want to explain all of that to you with the different motions, I don't expect you to remember anti-flexion, anti-extension, anti-rotation, but I do want you to realize that the job of the core is to make sure that it's resisting motion and that the core is not just the muscles in the front, but it is all the way around our body. With that being said, how do we properly train the core? Most people, when they train their core, they do crunches. Why is that a problem? Well, the problem with crunches is that that's just working the front of our core and it's not helping us resist motion. We should be doing a lot of things like planks, a lot of things like press outs with a band where we're trying to make sure that we don't move in our body while we do that. Maybe we're holding the plank position and I'm doing shoulder taps so my body doesn't move. And you're going to notice in the video that all of the different core exercises we do are to resist motion. When we do the straight leg sit-ups, I'm not bending where I'm trying to curl my body. I'm trying to lift my whole body all at once while keeping my core in a straight line. So it's really important to realize that the job of the core is to resist motion, and that we need to stop doing crunches to try to make our core stronger. And we need to do more things like planks, more things like press outs, and anything that's going to resist motion, where we can learn how to brace our core. Once you do that, you're going to have a healthier back, because your back's going to be stronger in your low back where your core is back there. Because if you only focus on that front of the core, that's when you start having some issues, because you're not strong all the way around. All right. I hope that you enjoy the workout. I know that you have done this workout already, but we're going to do this again, and now you're going to have a better understanding of why we're doing the push exercises, why we're doing the pull exercises, and also what we are doing with our core. Hope that you have a great workout and that you have enjoyed this. If you have more questions about more options for pushing or pulling, or questions about the core, Mrs. Patterson and I would love to answer those questions for you. All right, have a great workout.